in the air, how Saskatchewan is being grounded by the turbulence caused by the Air Canada labor dispute. Surveying citizens what the city of Saskatoon wants to know about residents' priorities. And community concern, what a local group wants now that a permanent shelter has a planned location.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with another day of travel turbulence as Air Canada flight attendants defy a back-to-work order and remain out on strike. It's a strike the Labor Relations Board deemed illegal. Still, hundreds of flights have been canceled with hundreds of thousands of passengers stuck in limbo. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
For the third straight day, Air Canada flight attendants are on the pavement rather than in the skies, defying orders to return to work.
And if it means folks like me going to jail, then so be it. If it means our union being fined, then so be it.
The Canada Industrial Relations Board ordered the roughly 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants to return to work yesterday after the federal jobs minister asked the Labour Board to intervene just hours into the strike.
When the government came in and tried to stop our strike 12 hours after we started, we decided that that was not enough to put pressure on Air Canada to come back to the table. That's all we want. Air Canada, come back to the table.
At issue, wages and unpaid work. Flight attendants are only paid for the hours they work in the air, which doesn't include boarding and other on-the-ground duties. The airline has offered a pay increase of 17.2% over 4 years, which the company's CEO calls an excellent offer.
That will result in our flight attendants being the best compensated flight attendants in Canada. Bar none.
But the union says that increase doesn't account for inflation over the last decade.
Starting flight attendants now are making $1,900 a month in an area where rent is $2,000.
The job action has left roughly 500,000 passengers stranded, many unsure when they will be able to get home.
I'm supposed to start a job on Wednesday. That's not going to happen.
Today, the Prime Minister weighed in, calling the impasse disappointing.
I urge both parties to resolve this as quickly as possible, and the Minister will have more to say. Minister Hyde will have more to say later.
The union is challenging the back-to-work order in court, so it's unclear how much longer this strike might last. Some estimating it is costing the airline about $60 million a day. Heather Wright, CTV News, Mississauga, Ontario.
The labor strife also grounding plans in Saskatchewan, impacting over 1,000 passengers in our province each day. CTV's Laura Woodward has more on flights canceled and the options that are running out.
Charlottetown rockers Haywire were set to hit the stage at Saskatoon's Rock the River on Sunday until Air Canada grounded their plans.
Because of the Air Canada strike, we couldn't get out of Charlottetown. So it changed all our plans.
And a canceled flight meant a canceled show.
We love playing there. We're looking forward to that gig a lot.
Rashid says booking with another airline wasn't an option. Flights were packed and prices sky high.
Crazy book, crazy expensive.
Finding a WestJet flight out of Saskatoon to Toronto, for example, none are available until Sunday at over $1,000 one way.
There's no airline that would have enough planes that would be not already in use. And frankly, there's just not enough seats to go around.
At Saskatoon's airport, the Air Canada desk mostly empty, with Monday's flights to Vancouver and Toronto canceled. Businesses that rely on air travel for meetings and conferences are bracing for impact.
When one of the major air carriers in the country is unable to provide those services, it's very problematic for businesses.
An estimated 1,100 passengers are affected by the strike per day at Saskatchewan's two largest airports. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The city is looking for input to help guide decision-making at City Hall. But before plans are put into place, the city wants to hear from residents to make sure its priorities are in line with what residents want. Keenan Sorokon reports.
Those spaces will
The city of Saskatoon wants to hear from you to help guide its major priorities over the next 4 years.
It's our roadmap for the next 4 years designed to address the pressing issues our community cares about.
The city's strategic plan is set to expire at the end of the year, so it needs a new one until 2029. The city is laying out 10 priorities for city council and 3 areas for city staff to focus on. Housing and homelessness, community safety, and core services are the top 3 priorities.
The main point to me of a city that works for everyone is that when people review this plan, that they will see themselves in it.
Block says homelessness and housing is the #1 concern from residents. Historically a provincial responsibility, the city has devoted more time and money to the file in recent years. Block wants to see more support from other levels of government.
We know that municipalities across this country are on the front lines of homelessness, but we do not have all the tools to solve it alone. Core responsibilities of government need to be honored.
Other priorities range from strengthening downtown, parks, and recreation.
Whatever we're proposing to bring forward, there's always a checkpoint back to the strategic plan to make sure those are some of the priorities of City Council.
A public survey is now available on the city's website and at City Hall until September 19th. Administration will then take that feedback and work it into the new plan before presenting it to Council at the end of the year. Keenan Sorokan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Concern is being raised about the city's plan for a permanent location for its enhanced emergency shelter. It's expected to be built behind Harry Bailey Pool in Sask Polytechnic. As Carla Shinkaruk explains, it's being met with less opposition and more of a demand for government to do better for those who face homelessness.
It doesn't take long to have an instant, like I said, emotional reaction to this and start wondering what if.
Ty Johnston is part of the Caswell Hill Community Association. It's an area that borders Idlewild and is meters from the site of the newly announced 60-bed homeless shelter behind Harry Bailey Pool and Sask Polytech.
They gave us 2 days heads up of which time. It depends on who's looking at their email all the time. And like I said, this is a volunteer position and it's summer right now.
While he's not happy with the timing and little consultation, he does see the shelter as necessary. The Caswell Hill group plans to send a letter with tangible requests to those in charge, like having a police liaison officer on site, having a good neighbor agreement, and a long-term plan to help homeless people.
We want to be there and be supportive of things that help our community members get stronger and get better, but we also want to see investment into longer-term solutions in affordable housing, addictions treatment, mental health.
The shelter is going to be run by the Mustard Seed, which is currently in charge of the Pacific Avenue Temporary Shelter and the Lighthouse.
It's really important that we're a part of the community and that we can be the best neighbors that we can be, understanding that shelters are complicated, but they're incredibly necessary.
That aligns with what Sask Polytech is hoping for, since it will be adjacent to the facility. It told CTV News in an email statement, "We look forward to close collaboration with government and stakeholders throughout design and construction to help ensure our campus and surrounding area continues to be a safe, inclusive, and respectful environment for all." One of those concerns raised by Johnston and his group is that there are 2 schools within blocks of the site, Caswell Community School and St. Michael, plus Harry Bailey Pool is next to it. The Mustard Seed assures it's on top of safety concerns. Still, there are many questions from Johnston and those in Caswell Hill, like why wasn't a location near the police station chosen? The goal is to have the shelter operational by late winter. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Ottawa is committing cash to help train firefighters this wildfire season. $335,000 of funding is being earmarked to the Yorkton Tribal Council to support the training of 35 community members in wildland fire management, integrating traditional knowledge and cultural burning practices to address wildfire risk reduction and mitigation. Ottawa says the money will equip people with the necessary skills and opportunities to pursue employment in wildland firefighting. As of this afternoon, 69 active wildfires are burning in Saskatchewan. 8 are considered not contained.
That really means looking at things like how we can strengthen coordination and capacity across jurisdictions, across provinces and territories, so that communities have the tools they need to respond, to recover, and to rebuild.
The federal government is also committing more than $200,000 to similar training efforts in Manitoba, bringing nearly 100 new firefighters into the field between the 2 provinces. Meanwhile, Saskatchewan's NDP is calling on the Premier to visit Denair Beach, which was devastated by flames this wildfire season. Denair Beach residents have questioned the province, asking why more wasn't done to protect their community, which lost hundreds of homes. Residents say videos and photos don't show the full extent of the damage.
As Premier, I question how he cannot make a community that lost over 200 homes a priority.
The province says some cabinet ministers have visited the north and will continue to do so. It adds the province's recovery task force continues to work with impacted communities and support them through recovery. Well, Stacey, we're on a bit of a roller coaster this week, forecast-wise.
That's for sure, Chantal. You know, we're off to a warm start. Certainly starting off the week, and it's only going to get hotter. For much of the province, the temperatures will be in the high 20s or 30s tomorrow, and southern winds and humidity are going to add to the intensity of that heat. Now, Environment Canada has issued heat warnings for southern Saskatchewan, with the humidity making it feel like 38 to 40 degrees over the next couple of days, but it will start to cool down Wednesday night and into Thursday. I'll have more details on that later in the show.
The death of an 18-year-old man in Pelican Narrows is being investigated as a homicide. RCMP say they were called to a home in the community at about 8 o'clock Saturday morning. They arrived to find the man seriously injured. He was taken to the local health clinic by members of the public but died shortly after. No other information about what happened has been released, and there is no word on whether police have arrested anyone. A man was sent to hospital after his vehicle collided with a building. Emergency crews were called to a condo complex in the 100 block of Armistice Way at about 4:30 yesterday afternoon. A van had crashed into a pillar, causing front-end damage to the vehicle. Police say the 69-year-old man who was driving suffered a minor injury and was taken to hospital for treatment. There is no word on what contributed to the crash. A house under construction in the Riversdale neighborhood went up in flames early this morning. This was the scene in the 200 block of Avenue D South. The fire department says crews found flames coming from the back of the two-story house. The structure is a total loss and was demolished. The cause and damage estimates are under investigation. The province's finances are under the microscope. The NDP is accusing the government of overspending. Jacob Carr has those details.
According to the NDP, since Scott Moe took office in 2018, the provincial government has increased its spending by 47%. The opposition says taxpayers are now paying the price of the ballooning provincial debt, with interest payments of upwards of $1 billion per year.
Think about that, $1 billion. Imagine what we could do in this province with that money. Imagine the doctors, the nurses, the long-term care beds that could be invested in.
The Canadian Taxpayers Federation agrees with that sentiment, but feels the NDP is not being transparent with the solution, controlling spending and spending less to pay back the debt.
The problem that the government has had for a long time is that it's been spending more money than it's getting coming in from tax revenue and wherever else, and that means they have to borrow the difference, right? And just like a family with a credit card, if you're not paying back your debt every year, it's only going to increase.
In a statement, the government of Saskatchewan offered a rebuttal to the NDP's claims of overspending and fiscal irresponsibility, saying the provincial government is continuously making investments on what is important to the people of Saskatchewan, adding that Saskatchewan has the second lowest net debt to GDP ratio and the highest combined credit rating in Canada. But the CTF says that number is misleading, since provinces across the country are piling on debt to their taxpayers right now.
Well, it doesn't give the Saskatchewan government license to do it just because it's not doing it quite as bad, because the stats don't lie, right? The government debt in Saskatchewan's going up by more than $3,000 a minute, almost $5 million a day, and that's unsustainable.
Havoc says as long as the government continues to rack up interest payments, it will continue to be felt by the Saskatchewan taxpayer. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
The city of Saskatoon is dealing with several new cases of Dutch elm disease. It says it's confirmed 3 positive cases in the Montgomery neighborhood, 2 in Riversdale and 1 in Caswell Hill. It's also found cases in City Park and Sutherland. The city says it will immediately remove all infected trees and take them to the landfill. It will also test trees that could be infected within 1 kilometer of the trees found to have Dutch elm. It's also removing 2 symptomatic trees in the Caswell Hill and Queen Elizabeth neighborhoods. Just weeks before class is set to begin at the University of Regina, a major change is now in place. The University of Regina Students' Union will no longer be on campus. Mick Fable has the details.
The University of Regina's Student Union has responded after having their on-campus lease terminated by the university. Through an email, the union says they are objecting to the university's actions, saying it goes against URSU Constitution. The email goes on to say the university is treating the union as if it's been dissolved or wound up, which is not the case. The message concludes by saying the union hopes the university clarifies their legal standing on the assets, property, and information now in the hands of the U of R. Right now, there is a slow trickle of students returning to campus ahead of the new semester. A student group from the First Nations University of Canada has financial connections with URSU and are watching how things are playing out.
The question is, what about our financials? Because we get our funding from. We have a fee share agreement currently in place that's currently expired. We need to come to the table again with, and we can't do that with, the current executive team.
On Friday, the university announced, due to a loss of confidence in URSU, the university canceled their lease agreement. Office space and other spots like the Lazy Owl are now to be vacated just weeks before another school year. Now that things are all in motion, URSU is questioning why protective services are being used to enforce the eviction notice. With much attention given to URSU in the past year on campus and beyond, those in the university community think there may be a surge in interest in student leadership roles.
Us as a whole here, the university and FNUTIV, are aware of the issues, and that I think that would encourage our entire student body to actually go vote on maybe when their next election is. I would encourage a lot of our students to vote.
Mick Fable, CTV News, Regina.
Métis Nation Saskatchewan has officially broken ground on Saskatoon's newest supportive housing unit. The space will provide a safe place for Métis, Indigenous, and non-Indigenous women, children, and members of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community who are leaving abusive situations. The 16-unit, 24-bedroom building will provide housing, childcare, education, and 24-hour support workers.
Our people, our citizens, are distinct and they're unique, and we cannot expect the colonial systems to continue to, implement programs and services that are not for them. So with Métis Nation, it is absolutely amazing that we can actually address the issues and then wrap our citizens around the love and care and respect that they deserve.
The project is expected to be complete by fall of next year. People had a chance to experience different cultures worldwide under one roof. Folkfest returned to Saskatoon's Prairieland Park over the weekend. 10 pavilions showcasing entertainment, food, art, and more. Folkfest began in 1980 in Saskatoon, allowing people to travel the world without leaving the city. This year's theme was Kaleidoscope of Culture.
Every culture is different, they're unique in a sense. So when they see all these presentations, especially the kids, the music, the dances, and the food, they will learn to appreciate and respect everybody's culture and traditions.
Each pavilion also had the opportunity to showcase their culture on the main stage for the crowd. The Vesbro Gardens were rockin' over the weekend. Rock the River returned for another year, featuring several performers. The 3-day event also featured food and beverages from local vendors. 2025 marks the 11th year the festival has been held in Saskatoon. The festival wrapped up last night with 5440 headlining. Still to come, Ukraine's president meets with his U.S. counterpart. Is there hope for peace? Also, how voters in Alberta are making their mark in a crucial riding for the Conservatives. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. In Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump hosted his Ukrainian counterpart today, with both leaders expressing hope it could lead to trilateral talks with Russia's leader to bring an end to Moscow's war on Ukraine. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
The Ukrainian president arrived at the White House dressed in a black suit instead of his usual military uniform. Donald Trump took notice.
First of all, Mr. President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Vladimir Zelensky also made sure he voiced his appreciation for the president's effort to end Russia's war on Ukraine.
Thank you very much for your efforts, personal efforts to stop killings and stop this war.
But the devil is in the details, and Zelensky wants to make sure the plan Trump discussed with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska will respect Ukraine's sovereignty. Speaking with reporters, Trump said a deal can be worked out without a ceasefire.
We can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting. They have to fight. I wish they could stop. I'd like them to stop. But strategically, that could be a disadvantage for one side or the other.
On social media, Trump said on Sunday that Zelensky can end the war if it gives up Crimea and membership in NATO. Russia took over Crimea in 2014, and after 3.5 years of war, it controls almost all of the Donbas region in southeast Ukraine. Putin wants Ukraine to give up territory as a condition for peace.
When we talk about security, we're talking about the security not just of Ukraine, we're talking about the security of Europe.
To prevent Ukraine's interests from being subverted in a deal brokered by the U.S. and Russia, 7 European leaders from Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Finland, the European Union, and NATO's Secretary General traveled to Washington to stand with Zelensky to warn against trusting Putin and fight for security guarantees.
We're going to try and get a 3-party meeting, maybe as soon as we can.
Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
In Alberta, voters are making their mark in a by-election that could see Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre return to the House of Commons.
I don't think he'll do anything for us because he'll just be another puppet.
I think he's perfect to represent this riding.
Poilievre is one of a record 214 candidates vying to win Battle River Crowfoot. It's considered one of the safest Conservative seats in the country. The majority of the other candidates are part of a protest group that wants change to Canada's electoral system. Poilievre is in the running after he lost his Ottawa seat in the April general election. Canada's home building is picking up, but not fast enough, according to a national housing agency. CTV's Maria Soro reports from PEI, a province punching above its weight, but still struggling through the crunch.
Homes are taking shape across Charlottetown, construction crews working hard. For its size, PEI is building at roughly double the national rate, according to the newest numbers.
We're small, but we're very resilient. We like to get things done.
But like other provinces, the island can't keep up with demand or the pace needed to restore pre-pandemic affordability by 2035, according to the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. In July, Canada's home building was 4% faster than in June, at about 294,000 homes per year. But that's still far from the CMHC's affordability benchmark of 430,000 to 480,000 home starts per year. This home I'm standing in is a work in progress, greenlit well before today. One of the reasons for the building bump is that pre-planned projects like this one are going ahead. But the National Housing Agency says that doesn't reflect current investor appetite. In fact, the CMHC is projecting a slowdown later this year.
We've been in a context where the economy has been quite uncertain
we've been facing geopolitical uncertainty as well.
While tariffs and higher costs are making homes harder to finance, the Construction Association of PEI's executive director says there are bigger challenges.
Shortage of skilled people will continue to be a problem, in the years to come.
So builders here say they need more help to turn frames into finished homes. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Hurricane Erin is moving north after slamming through the Caribbean. In Puerto Rico, there are tens of thousands of reported power outages following high winds and flash floods. In Turks and Caicos, troops were deployed to help with relief efforts. The Category 4 storm is expected to increase in strength as it moves north. While the storm isn't expected to make landfall in the U.S. or Canada, coastal areas are bracing for a high surf and strong rip currents.
And I'm Rosette Kana, and we are members of Music for the Gut, a benefit concert for Crohn's and colitis.
Do you have plans on August 22nd? If not, make sure to check out our concert. We have live music from all different genres, rock, pop, musicals, local artists, a live band, dancers. It's a night not to be missed.
You can get your tickets at tcutickets.ca or call the TCU box office, or even come in person. So, what's the weather going to be like?
Well, good news, we'll be out of this intense heat by Friday. It's going to be a comfortable 21, sun and cloud. Again, the show starts at 7:30. And for more information on tickets, head to tcutickets.ca. Taking a look at current temperatures, Saskatoon 25, Prince Albert 24, and the Battleford's sunny and 22. Now our high today, 26, our low 9. Touch warmer than seasonal. Now, the record high was 35, set in 1991, and the record low was 2, set in 1940. Now, the sun went up at 5:55 a.m., and it will go down at 8:25 p.m.
Coming up, a Saskatchewan youngster revved for a big competition. How he's on track for a shot at a world championship.
Welcome back. I'm filling in for Jeff tonight, but for one day and one day only, your favorite weatherman will be back tomorrow. But in the meantime, you're stuck with me. Taking a look at our sky cam right now. Fairly nice day out right now. Conditions not too bad. And it's only going to get hotter over the next couple of days. Taking a look at our radar and satellite. Now, the big weather story over the next couple of days will be the heat and humidity. And of course, that's the perfect recipe for some storm activity. That's kind of what we're seeing on the radar right now. Some precipitation in the Regina area and in the Kindersley area. There is thunderstorm watches, especially as a warm front moves in through southern Saskatchewan. That kind of initiates some storm activity there. Taking a look right now, Saskatoon 25, Prince Albert 24, and the Battleford's 22. Our hot spot today, Val-Marie at 30, Spiritwood, our cold spot at 6 degrees. Currently, it's 27 in Swift Current, 28 in Estevan, 27 in Regina, and 23 in Yorkton. Bit more of a range of temperatures here. Wynyard 20, and then as we move more west, things heat up. Kindersley 27, 24 in Rosetown, 24 in Spiritwood. So temperatures around the mid-20s, 21 in the Ronge, 22 in Sandy Bay Island Falls, 24 in South End. Again, temperatures pretty much the same across the board. Leader 29, same with Maple Creek, so pretty hot as we head down south. And again, that is where our heat warning is in effect for temperatures in the high 20s pretty much across the board here. So it's going to be a hot one over the next few days. Taking a look at our future cast, if you see that rain system coming in through the northwest, that's going to bring rain to some fires that are considered uncontained, particularly near the Beauval, Isla Cross, and Buffalo Narrows area. So welcome for firefighter down there. For Regina, Saskatoon, pretty clear sky throughout, a few clouds, but A lot of sunshine we'll see tomorrow. La Ronge 25, 24 in Stony Rapids, 23 in Buffalo Narrows, and 24 in Key Lake. Spiritwood, Kindersley, and Rosetown, mainly sunny. Temperatures in the high 20s or 30s. And in the southwest, it is hot. 33 in Maple Creek, 32 in Leader and Outlook, 33 in Swift Current, and the sun will be out. Again, we're going to see some winds from the south too, so that will add to the intensity of the heat. Regina and Moose Jaw temperatures in the mid-30s, and that's not even factoring in the humidity. So again, it's going to be a hot one tomorrow. Melfort, Watrous, Humboldt, Hudson Bay, all sunny, temperatures in the high 20s or 30s. Now, in the Battlefords tonight, there is thunderstorm risk, 30% chance of showers. Tomorrow, mainly sunny. It's going to be 28, but with that humidex, it's going to feel like 36. So again, it's going to be warm. Now, Wednesday, a high of 26, and then Thursday is when we'll start to see that cool down into the high teens, and then temperatures will stabilize throughout the week. There, Prince Albert, clear tonight, a low of 12 tomorrow, mainly sunny. Again, a high of 28, but with the humidex, it's going to feel like 36. It's going to be a hot one tomorrow, also quite sunny. Wednesday, a high of 25, and then we'll start to see that cool down over Wednesday night and into Thursday, and then temperatures will stabilize, so we'll get away from that heat. Saskatoon, a few clouds tonight, tomorrow, mainly sunny, and again, with that humidex, it's going to feel like 37, so it's going to be a hot one tomorrow. Wednesday, a high of 29. Thursday, going to be quite windy, a high of 21. And then Friday and heading into the weekend, temperatures in the low 20s, so it does start to stabilize from there.
For an actor who, you know, always wanted a long career, the crucial thing is to keep sort of reinventing yourself.
British character actor Terence Stamp has died at the age of 87. Stamp's film career began in 1962 when he earned an Oscar nomination for the film Billy Budd. He was likely best known for his role as the villain Zod in 1978's Superman and 1980's Superman 2.
This is my brand new album.
Taylor Swift revealing her 12th album, The Life of a Showgirl. She made the announcement while appearing on her boyfriend Travis Kelce's podcast, New Heights. It set a YouTube record. The show peaked at 1.3 million concurrent live stream viewers, which is a new podcast high on the platform.
I don't understand at all. Why just her classroom? Why only her?
Horror thriller Weapons held on to its #1 spot at the box office, adding $25 million US in ticket sales across North America. Freakier Friday was back in second place for its second week, bringing in $14.4 million. Action comedy Nobody 2, which was filmed in Manitoba, was able to get onto the podium with its debut, snagging third with $9.3 million.
Stacey, time for Pick of the Day. What do you have tonight?
We got some pretty good ones today. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, Chantal. Starting off with this one, we have the Riders MVP. Of course, that stands for Most Valuable Pup. Now, this one was sent in by Sarah, and this pup certainly seemingly a good luck charm considering the last game against Hamilton on the weekend. So thank you, Sarah, for your pup, your good luck pup. Next, we have a somewhat weather-related photo. Brenda Burrows says, heavy fog this morning revealed all the spider webs in my yard. This is the prettiest one I chose from 25. And you know what, Chantal, given that Halloween is right around the corner, you might as well leave it up. What do you think?
Well, we'll have to see. It's still a few months away.
That's true. That's true. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. And our next photo, we have a cascade of color in the sky. Joan Allman took this one in Saskatoon on Saturday. Well, Joan, it is a very nice photo, so thank you for sending that in. And if you want to send in a photo, you can send us to us at cfqcnews@ctv.ca.
Still to come on CTV News, a race to the finish for a Saskatchewan youngster, how he's got the drive to go for gold at an upcoming competition. A 9-year-old kart racer from Lumsden is turning heads. As Brittany Poitras tells us, he's earned himself a trip to the Middle East to represent Canada on the racetrack.
He might be just 9 years old, but Jack Klim was born to be behind the wheel. The Lumsden product is one of the best go-kart racers in the country and will represent Canada at an international stage this November in Bahrain. Klim says he's been racing on the WF Botkin racetrack outside of Regina since the first time he saw karts on the track.
We saw go-karting, so we came over for a day and asked if we could test it, and we liked it, so we tried it again, did a race the next year, and we loved it, so we kept doing it.
He has been riding around on little quads and electric vehicles since I think he was 2, kind of ripping around our yard, ripping around the farm. I think he's been parallel parking since he was 2. He's a better driver than I am.
With speeds of more than 100 kilometers per hour, the safety procedures become even more important than the race itself.
We have bumpers, front, side pods, and back rear bumper. We have a rib protector, a suit. You can have a balaclava, a neck protector, a helmet, and gloves.
Jack's mother says her heart races just as fast on the sidelines as Jack does on the track.
It's definitely high anxiety. I don't know if this ever is going to get easier on my mom heart.
The 4th grader will race against the fastest 7 to 10-year-olds at the Rotex Grand Finals in Bahrain. His mother says competing is a part of Jack's nature.
He's a very special kid. He's always been, highly competitive, very coachable, very easygoing. We're pretty proud of him.
In just a couple of months, Jack will go full throttle against some of the fastest kids in the world and may even bring Canada home a world title. Brittany Poitras, CTV News, near Regina.
When we come back, the Hilltops kick off their season, what they have on their sights set on, and later what drove classic car lovers to downtown Saskatoon.
Welcome back. Taking a look at our rural forecast. Temperatures in the high 20s and or 30s. Pretty sunny across the board. I'll get out of your way here. 31 in Wynyard, 32 in Watrous, 29 in Hudson Bay and Melfort, 27 in Spiritwood, 26 in Meadow Lake, 27 in Lloydminster, and 31 in Kindersley. Pretty sunny across the board. It is going to be hot, and it's going to be humid. Environment Canada says outlook, which is showing a high of 32 with the humidex. It's going to feel like 37, so keep that in mind for tomorrow. And as we move down south, temperatures, again, still pretty hot. This is where our heat warnings is issued. Rockland, 34, Easton, Cypress, 32, 33 in Maple Creek, 34 in Assiniboia, 34 in Lumsden, 33 in Pilot Butte, Cornack, 36, and again, that's not factoring in our humidity, so it's going to be hot again. To the main condition across the board is sunny, and in the Losh, slightly cooler as it is a little bit more north, 23, and mainly sunny. Variable winds at 5 kilometers an hour. Now, La Loche is also where you can get internet plans up to 1 gigabyte available from SaskTel.
The Saskatoon Hilltops were at SMF Field for their home opener yesterday, and the team was hungry to get back to its winning ways.
It's Collins looking for some space, trying to find some room, spins around and gets through a couple of tacklers, now has nothing but daylight ahead of him.
Minnesota-born fifth-year running back David Collins ripped the Huskies' defense for a 75-yard touchdown in the second quarter as the Hilltops only gave up a rouge, a safety, and a field goal on defense. The Hilltops would win this one by a wide margin, 46-6. With a win and a loss, Saskatoon is back at home this weekend when the 2-0 Winnipeg Rifles come to town. Kickoff is 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. The Riders continue to roll as they beat the Hamilton Tiger Cats 29-9 on Saturday in front of a sellout crowd. The win brings their record to 8 wins and 1 loss.
So there's a reason I ended up in sports.
Oh, Brett, you said the weather's harder than
Trevor Harris threw for more than 300 yards with 3 touchdowns on Saturday. The Rough Riders defense was solid, sacking the opposing quarterback 6 times. The announced 33,000-plus crowd was the first sellout for the Riders for a non-Labor Day game since the pandemic. Deer and elk hunters in parts of the province will have to submit the heads of their animals as part of mandatory testing this hunting season. Wildlife management zones in the North Battleford and Tisdale areas are among those under a mandatory order to test for chronic wasting disease. Zones in the Yorkton area must test for bovine tuberculosis. The testing requirements follow confirmed cases of the illnesses among cattle herds in the last 2 years. For hunters outside the mandatory testing areas, the province is encouraging hunters to voluntarily participate in CWD testing by using drop-off locations. Horseback competitions took over part of Prairieland Park this weekend. Novice and non-pro riders had a chance to show off their skills reining in cows as part of the Classic Cow Horse Futurity and Derby. The show was free to take in and offered payouts and prizes for competitors. Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is just over $1.28 a litre. That is up. The lowest price in town is $1.19. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco finished the day at $106.11. Nutrien was down 66 cents. Coming up, an annual classic revs into high gear in Saskatoon. And the Saskatchewan youngsters putting the pedal to the metal.
Hey there, Derek Chesney here with the Saskatoon Crime Stoppers. This week on Crime Stoppers Unmasked, we're looking for the public's assistance in identifying those responsible for a homicide in the Confederation Park neighborhood of Saskatoon. On April 15th, 2024, just after 4 a.m., Saskatoon police were called to a home on Chandler Place following a 911 call about an injured man. When they arrived, they found 31-year-old Gregory Moose Hunter Jr. suffering from severe head injuries caused by blunt force trauma. He was in critical condition and rushed to the hospital by ambulance. Through investigation, police learned that Gregory had been at a gathering inside a detached garage on Chandler Place. At some point during the party, a group of males confronted him, and he was brutally assaulted with the weapon. Despite his injuries, Gregory was able to escape and make it to a nearby residence to seek help. Gregory fought for his life for nearly 3 weeks, but on May 3rd, he died from the injuries he sustained that night. Do you have information about this violent homicide or who is responsible? If so, please give us a call at 1-800-222-8477 or leave a tip online at SaskatoonCrimeStoppers.com. We pay cash rewards of up to $2,000 for information about this crime. Tips are completely anonymous. We don't want your name, we just want your assistance. Saskatoon Crime Stoppers. Do your part to stop crime in our community.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television starting tonight at 7 with American Ninja Warrior. Well, some classic cars were on display in downtown Saskatoon this weekend. Hundreds of vehicles were showcased across 14 city blocks in downtown Saskatoon as part of Rock 102's Show and Shine. More than 30,000 people showed up over the weekend to check out the vehicles and over 50 vendors. Looks like some decent weather as well.
Ooh, the truck with the flames is pretty cool there.
So many options to look at.
Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, waving to the camera.
All right, before we go, dozens of onlookers lined the sidewalks in Moose Jaw this weekend for the annual Soapbox Derby. Racers aged 7 to 15 lined up their homemade cars in hopes of making it down the street before their opponent. And for a couple of young racers, it was truly a family affair. Isabella and Alex Carl are siblings, and they raced off against each other for the first time in their young racing careers. And Isabella is not the first in the family to race her car. It has actually been passed through the generations. So
I think we should do something like that here, and one of the lucky viewers can race you, Chantal.
Oh, you think? I thought you were going to volunteer Jeff or something.
You know, yeah, I think Jeff. I think Jeff would be the better option. Actually,
we can get him to try.
Maybe both you and Jeff race. How about
race
that?
Each other?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll think about it. You have to make your own cars, though.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, yours would be prettier though.
It probably. I don't know how sturdy it would be though.
I have faith in you.
Yeah, it'll be a hot few days, at least, to work on it in the next few days.
That's true. Yeah, it will be nice weather to pick up that hobby. Starting tomorrow, 9 a.m., 19 and sunny, and then by noon, 24 and sunny, and in the evening, 29. And again, with the Humidex, Environment Canada says it's going to feel like 37.
It's going to be hot. Thanks for watching.